Okay guys, so do you want to be faster at video editing? Well, fear not, I got you covered. Alright guys, today we are talking about a tool that could possibly cut in half your editing time. It is called Naive, and it is a software, an artificial intelligence if you may, that will basically help you a lot with your editing. So let's say you have done a shoot and now you're basically at home dumping the footage on your computer, and it's hours and hours of footage, and you would have to, you know, just stay and go through the whole thing and select the good bits, the bad bits, the overexposed footage, the underexposed footage, you know, everything that you actually need to edit. And this is where Naive comes in. Really what Naive is going to do is going to analyze all your footage and make a selection of the good and the bad footage, put everything in a timeline with two tracks. So you have the one track where the good footage is, and you know, the second track underneath it with the bad footage. So I'm going to use my favorite model in these dark times, who is, I don't know anymore, Carla. There you go. I'm going to use her. I'm going to put it on a stand, and then I'm going to shoot some footage of Carla, B-roll, you know, just moving around, handheld shots, in-camera transitions, everything that I can think of. I'll throw it the software and see how it does. So let's start with some handheld shots, and then we're gonna move to the gimbal. I'm gonna use the Nikon D7200 with the Sigma 17 to 50 to shoot this, let's call it B-roll. I opted for this one because it's a little bit heavier, so it's a little bit steadier, you know. And I'm gonna shoot it like I normally shoot some B-roll of a person, like, you know, details of the face and maybe getting a little bit further away, you know, do some zoom ins and that kind of stuff. And basically I will do like what I normally do, and then we'll see how the software actually manages it. I'm shooting at 60 frames per second, so that in post you can slow it down and make it a little bit more, you know, steady. Next to a window, so that on one side you have an overexposed area, which is the window, and if I move on the side of the window I have very soft light. So this way we'll see if the software is going to recognize the overexposed one and the, you know, the good one, and put them like on different tracks. What I tried doing here is to manually focus on her eyes at a distance, and then to just get out of focus and then push in and see what it does to the software, because sometimes I like when I'll zoom in out of focus and then you get into focus the area that you want in focus. It's a cinematic effect, let's see. At least I think so. Now I'm going to put this on a gimbal and see what the software thinks about the, you know, the handheld shot and the gimbal shot. If you're looking into gimbals right now, I suggest that you get the Weebill S, the Zhiyun Weebill S. It's one of the best, and it doesn't really cost that much. I mean, it does cost, but you know, it's a decent price really for what you get. It is super easy to mount the camera on. It's like 5 minutes tops. And if you learn a few tricks, it's going to be even faster than that. Now it's time to balance it. Remember to set everything on the camera before balancing it. If you have a mic, put the mic on. If you have a cap, put with whatever, put it on, so it's going to be balanced. All right. So the bigger the setup, the more difficult it's going to be to actually balance it. Oh, I think this is going to be a good thumbnail. Alright, so gimbal test. Okay, let's go. Ooh, this is smooth, man. Alright. Right, so a couple of shots on the gimbal. I have to say that they were much smoother than the handheld was. Let's test a few in-camera transitions. I'm going to put the gimbal in sport mode and try a few crazy things. Few in camera, you know, crazy stuff done. Now I'm going to ask my roommates to help me with this. I'm going to capture a moving shot where there's people, you know, walking and I'm moving at the same time, and see how that does. And then what else was on the list? Yeah, underexposed and overexposed. Overexposed, I've done some of that. Let's see how it manages the underexposed footage. Okay, right now I'm shooting at f7, and it is kind of underexposed. No, it is pretty underexposed, but at least we got everything in focus. Good. Now that's done. The only thing that I want to do right now is to shoot the walking shot. I'm gonna need some help for that, so let's go. Can you help me?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I need you to walk around the house and
to walk.
To walk like walking.
Not here.
Not here, in the kitchen, for example. And I'm gonna shoot 5 seconds of you. It's okay?
5 seconds?
Yeah, I just need you for 5 seconds.
Do you pay, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna cook something very beautiful, tasty.
Okay.
Some snack. Is that okay?
We have a deal.
Taralli. Deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to test the walking shot, and it's going to be a test for the underexposing the footage also. Here's Roberto. He's going to help me. Say hi to YouTube.
Hi YouTube.
Okay, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Just go.
I'm a wanted man. I got blood on my hands. Do you understand? I'm a wanted man.
3, 1,
Just a
go,
little
just
shot
go.
at all the lights. I started running in the middle of the night. The law ain't never been a friend of mine. I would kill again.
Let's do a handheld test also, so that we have the full package. And again. And we are going in 3, 2, 1, go!
Do you understand? I'm a wanted man. I'm a wanted man. I got blood on my hands. Do you understand? I'm a wanted man.
Alright people, we are ready to edit this bad boy. I'm not gonna show you, you know, how to install the whole thing. There's a download link in the description, click that, follow the instructions, it's pretty easy, it's just a couple of clicks and you're good to go. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my footage from here. So I have Nikon and Canon. Canon, it's still empty. Okay, as you can see, we have 11 clips, 7 minutes, okay. So I have the free version, therefore I cannot create proxy files and sync media files, but that's okay. Also, you have a limit of 30 minutes of footage every time if you're using the free version. So now we're gonna start processing this. And you know, relax, do whatever. So depending on your computer, this can take I don't know, from depending on how much footage you have and how fast your computer is, it will take longer or shorter. I'm gonna go grab another apple. I just love those apples. It's already finished. Huh. Right, so we can export an XML that can work very well with Adobe Premiere Pro or Davinci Resolve. So I have actually moved from Premiere to Davinci, so I'm gonna use Davinci for this one. Let's see what this thing does. Let's fire up Resolve. We are in Davinci Resolve right now, and we are going to import an XML right here on the desktop. So here we are in Resolve. Import the timeline. Okay, guess it's gonna take some time. Okay, there we go. So as you see, there's here we have the footage that's good, and this is the bad footage, I guess. Or yeah. Let's go faster. Yeah, see. Now, this is interesting. So as you can see here, I would actually go like this, you know, from here. Like I would cut here. And then I would do something like this, see, like until it gets into focus. While he does, or while Naive does, what Naive does is, you know, it only gets the thing that it's in focus when it's in focus. So when it's sharp and in focus, it reads it as, you know, as good footage. But when it's not exactly in focus and you're moving into focus, which can be interesting, it doesn't read it as good footage. And I think, I mean, that it's a good point, really. It doesn't understand, you know, the artistic level of it. Okay. So here I'm moving a lot, but this one is good. So when it detects the move, like it's moving up, yeah, I mean it's a bad shot. I wouldn't use this one either, but that's mainly because it doesn't say anything. Okay, so for example, this one, this here I would use from here. I could probably use this, here to here. That's bad. I mean, this is good though. I mean, this one here, I think I could use this again, like from here. I could actually use like this. Oh, up to here maybe. Oh, this is right. So, a couple of shots on the gimbal. And these were the gimbal shots. Actually, so far I think it's doing a good job. I mean, there's a couple of things that have to do with the artistic choices of a filmmaker, like, you know, that dolly zooms, let's say, out of focus, from out of focus to in focus, that kind of thing. It only reads the in focusing, but other than that, I think it's doing a pretty good job eliminating the in selecting the defective footage. Let's go on. I have everything. Right, go ahead. This is okay. So here we go with the in-camera transitions. Let's see. Okay, so it doesn't read it as a good one. I'm going like this. Okay. That's not bad. Okay. It might be slightly out of focus, that's why. No, this is bad. Okay. Yeah, I can. Yeah. So I would actually go with this one too. And this is. Okay, I get it. I get why this is reading like it's wrong. And it is. So. Correct. Okay, so let's go with the underexposed footage. Okay, right now I'm shooting at f7. Okay, so with the underexposed footage, I've noticed that, I mean, now that I'm watching it on the computer, it doesn't seem that underexposed. I was at f7, so f7.1, so everything was in focus, and I noticed how a lot of the footage, it's selected as good footage. So it's very good at detecting when stuff is in focus and when it's not in focus, which I think it's a good thing. But if you wanted something to be out of focus in the frame, I think it will count it as a defective. Let's see how it does with the moving shots. Okay, it's still underexposed, but good. Alright. Okay, put it in 3, 2, 1, go, just go. So it didn't choose, okay. Alright. Wow, oh, okay. So, and back. No, go.
Shit.
Guarda, guarda.
Smart working.
Okay, there's something wrong here. It only gets like this and this and this, which are very very short pieces, but the rest, I think the rest is kind of good. I mean, I would actually use it. Let's see the rest.
Going in 3, 2, 1, go!
This is the handheld one. Okay, so so this is the only shot that it's good so far. Okay. Okay, this is bad. Okay, I understand. There is some problem with the moving shots. I mean, I would totally use, at least the gimbal ones are pretty good. I don't know if it's because it's underexposed, but there are a few shots where it's well exposed. There are a few shots where it's at least decent exposed, and they're not doing. It's saying that it's bad. So what it does very well, it's identifying the shaky footage. Does a very good job with it. Like, it's super impressive. Shaky footage and out of focus footage. It's very good at that. But I think it's too good let's say that it's too good, because when you're moving and you're doing a walking shot, and to the software it doesn't seem that's how can I say this? It's not smooth enough, but it looks good. It identifies it as bad footage. Alright, so a couple of things that I want to say. It does a very good job in identifying shaky footage and out of focus footage. But its best quality is a little bit its worst at the same time. Now, what I'm trying to say is that it identifies very well shaky footage, but to the point where a walking shot it's not identified as good. Or when you're out of focus and you move into focus, it will identify that small part out as bad footage. And I can totally understand why it does that, but at the same time, you know, that it loses that artistic choice, let's say. You know, I think it's very good as a software, and I see it used as a tool for specific video makers. So if you're an event video maker, or if you're doing, I don't know, weddings, definitely, or if you're doing real estate video making, it's gonna save you a ton of time. Because, for example, when you're doing real estate, I don't know, you want everything to be very smooth, you know? So everything that is shaky or out of focus or it's not perfect, it's gone, it's cut away. Same thing with weddings. I mean, with weddings you have to be a little bit careful, because I think people, even if it's shaky or a little bit out of focus or stuff like that, to the people it's a memory and they're not gonna give a fuck about it. But with real estate and event photography, I think it's an incredible tool, you know, to play with, and it will save you a ton of time. And the fact that it creates you the proxies and all that stuff, it's just incredible. Like, you basically leave the computer on, like you can put the footage, dump the footage in the evening, leave it on during the night, and in the morning you have a perfect timeline to work with, you know, to just be creative and don't think about you know, cutting small bits and pieces. I think it's a very interesting tool, you know, it will save you a ton of time. But do I think I will use this? Yes and no. Mainly because the kind of video that I do is, you know, run and gun. I just go around with my camera on a tripod, or I hold my camera in my hand, and it's always shaky. Okay, so I don't think it's good for vloggers. It's more for wedding, real estate, and events. Vloggers, you know, unless you have some cinematic sequence where you want to use naive with, that's good. I can see that using that, but usually for a vlogger, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, you would have to look at the footage all over again. While if you're doing like real estate, it's just perfect. You just dump the footage and it's done. I think you should totally try this tool if even if you're not like a pro doing weddings and stuff like that. Just try it, play with it. I think it's really good. It will save you a ton of time, and guys, it's free basically, so just go with it. Even if you don't use it that much, it's free. So when you need it, you just use it. It has some pro features also, like the proxies, but that's gonna cost you something like 20-30 bucks, something like that, I don't know. But again, if you're working with 4K files, I can see you using that feature. But if you're working with 1080p footage, it's like, okay, whatever, doesn't really matter. Creating proxies for 1080p, it's you know. Right. If you like the software, go on their pages. I will link them down below. Naive on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Give them some love. Tell them that I sent you. And yeah, that's kind of it, really. I will see you in the next video. Bye.